The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. This is Maggie Dressel. I am the Future City Program Manager. Also on the line, we have Louise Williams. She's our Future City Staff Assistant. And thank you to everyone for joining us today for a quick, hopefully concise webinar about some exciting changes to the Future City program for this coming year. I want to jump right in. A lot of you are still rolling in. I'm going to go through the agenda really quick, which you can see right here. Short agenda. I'm just going to update you all on the kind of new and updated program framework. Then we will delve into each of the competition deliverables real quick. I will let you know some of the resources that we have for you this year. And then hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for some questions and answers at the end. I am going to go through the entire presentation and then address any questions at the end because I cannot do them both at the same time. My apologies. Can I just get a quick show of hands if you can hear me? It's always nice to know that I'm not talking to a brick wall. So I see, yeah, thank you guys for everybody raising their hands. Awesome. All my regional coordinators on the call know what I'm talking about. So as you saw, I already went over the agenda, so let's jump right on in. Oh, and if you have any questions or if you want to come back to this later, this webinar is being recorded and will be posted online at the Future City website resources, and we'll go over that actually towards the end of this. So you can go back, listen to this again, and enjoy. So let's delve right into the program framework. We redesigned it this year to incorporate not only the engineering design process, but also to incorporate some project management methods. If you're wondering why we chose to redesign it, we wanted to make the program more accessible and streamlined and kind of simplify the process for educators. We know that, you educators are awesome. You got a lot going on. We are so happy to have you involved in Future City, and we want to make it as kind of easy and accessible for you as possible. We piloted this program last year during the 2014-2015 program cycle in 11 schools across the country, and 10 out of the 11 said that the pilot offered an improved approach. So I think that's a pretty good statistic. Hopefully you guys will agree. As you can see, they thought it was more clear, more linear, it made sense, it was practical. And so I'm excited to kind of roll all the changes out to you guys on a national scale for 2015-2016. So as you can see on the left-hand side is our engineering design process. And we've been using this for a few years, so this is nothing new. You see the different steps that the teams go through. The new part is the project management cycle, and that's the colorful part on the right-hand side. My apologies, I could not find my colorful version of the engineering design process. So we're thinking that the teams are going to use the engineering design process to really guide the kind of brainstorming and the creation of their actual future cities. And where their program management cycle fits in is that it'll provide the teams and the students methods to kind of plan and complete their deliverables in an organized fashion. So I'll show you real quick how they work together. And if you've had a chance to look at your program handbook, either online or hard copy, if your regional coordinator has provided you one, this looks pretty familiar. I think this is page 5 of the handbook. And as you can see, this column, so the define, plan, do, and review, those are our project management cycle steps. On the right-hand side of these columns is the engineering design process. So the steps that we know: identify the problem, learn the specs, all the way all through share it. So you can see that we kind of line them up to show you that, oh, while you're defining the project management cycle step, that is when you're identifying the problem and learning the specs. And then this middle part is kind of the little nuggets that your teams and your students will be doing as they kind of go through this process, and kind of the different deliverables and how they fit in. If you haven't looked at your program handbooks yet, I highly, highly recommend you take a moment, get very familiar with it, especially pages 4 and 5. They're the 2 colorful pages in the beginning of the handbook, and they are really, really helpful. They lay it out in a roadmap, as you can see, We tried to be really clear. We think that the project management cycle and the engineering design process not only work really well together, but work really well as a framework for Future City. We'll see how you like it. We will definitely be doing an evaluation after the end of this year. And so as you're going through the process with your students and your teams, definitely make note of anything that you really like, you really dislike, and please share that with us because we are always looking for ways to improve. So that is just kind of the framework. We're really excited about it. But moving on to, so sorry about that, the competition deliverables. We have 5 deliverables as always. Number 1 is the virtual city. That has been updated. It's worth 54 points this year. The city description, that probably doesn't ring a bell because we didn't have something called the city description last year. We'll delve into that in a little bit. That's worth 60 points. The city model and the city presentation, unchanged from past years. That is the physical tabletop model that your teams create and the presentation they give. We did not change those at all. And then the project plan deliverable is new. You see it's worth 10 points, and we will address that towards the end. So those are your 5 deliverables. Let's delve into each one separately, starting with the virtual city. So the virtual city is kind of the big change. We're starting with the big one. As you can see, for this deliverable, the students will design a virtual city using SimCity software and present their city's progress via a slideshow. It's very different from last year if you participated before. Again, the points value is 54, and the due date varies by region. Why did we change this deliverable so much? We, simply put, we heard you and we listened to you. We wanted to simplify and connect the deliverable to the rest of the program. A lot of past educators made the point that they either didn't really see how the SimCity component really fit in with the rest of the project, or they just didn't see the point of it. So we tried to make it a little bit more applicable and involved with the rest of the project. We also wanted to kind of refocus on the learning outcomes. I think it's always nice to do that. The SimCity deliverable had kind of become almost like a who can design, who can play SimCity the best. And while that's great, I would really like to know who can kind of learn the most from SimCity. So we kind of changed that around to fit the learning outcomes. And then we also know that a lot of you had technical issues on the school and team level, and also some judges had issues kind of opening the SimCity files. So we wanted to address that. So the old deliverable that you guys knew, students created a virtual city and submitted that SimCity game file. That is no longer the case. We're throwing that out the window. The new deliverable, you can kind of see an expanded version of it right here. The teams are going to still develop a city using the SimCity software, but they are not going to just kind of develop their city with no end goal in sight. They're going to choose 2 goals. They can choose their own. We give them suggested goals in the handbook and online, but they can also create goals that we haven't listed out for them. And then they're going to check in at 3 points during the development of their city via a slideshow. We will actually go through the slideshow slide by slide in a few minutes just so I can introduce that to you. The score is no longer based kind of on their final city, but really on the learning outcomes they can show and kind of their conclusions. And so the final product is a PDF slideshow. We do not even want your SimCity game file anymore. We just want a slideshow. So we're hoping that'll kind of make life easier for everybody. Some resources that we've created and streamlined for you this year. We have a completed slideshow example that you can share with your team so they know exactly what we're looking for. And this example is what we're going to go through in a moment. We also have a slideshow template for you to download directly from our website. So there's no question about what we're looking for. Just download the version. And we're offering them in PowerPoint and Prezi. The PowerPoint version is currently available for download. The Prezi one has actually given us a bit of trouble. So I will say right now, if you use Prezi at your school and you consider yourself knowledgeable or even a Prezi expert and you are willing to kind of help us test a few things out, please, please, please don't hesitate to shoot an email to info@futurecity.org. We would be ever appreciative for your help. But eventually Prezi will be up there, hopefully in the next week or two at the latest. We're also creating or sharing that list that I mentioned of the sample goals and also measurement markers for each goal. The teams are more than welcome to use those, or they can create their own. We don't want to limit their creativity. A benchmarks worksheet, and that will make more sense when you see the slideshow example. And then a bunch of related instructions for various SimCity issues. Two other quick changes to note is that in the past we've required that teams use the Whitewater Valley region. Since we're no longer kind of judging cities against each other, we don't care what region the teams use. They can use any of them, so that's kind of exciting. Also, in the past, we have forbidden the use of cheat codes for obvious reasons. We still discourage them, but if you need to use a cheat code, you know, to help develop your city, it's no longer going to count against you. But in the same vein, please note that sandbox mode is still not allowed, because sandbox mode just doesn't really kind of let you have the full SimCity experience. One more quick note before we delve into the slideshow itself is that SimCity codes are being distributed differently this year. In the past, you had to wait a few days after you registered, and you would get an email from myself or a colleague with your codes. This year, it's automatic. So once you register and create your or finish your program detail survey, which is kind of that second step of registration, it's where we ask you what grade level you teach, how many students you anticipate, what subject you teach. As soon as you finish that in the Teacher Center, you automatically get assigned codes. It's kind of awesome. One thing to note is that if you're in Arizona or Wisconsin, those regions have chosen to stick with the old version, old method, and you will receive your codes directly from your regional coordinator via email rather than the Teacher Center. As always, if you'd like to request more than 3 codes, you can email info@futurecity.org. Please include the number of codes you want and the number of students in your program. We would love to give everybody as many codes as they want. Fortunately, we have a limited number that EA has generously donated this year, but we will do our best to accommodate you, but they are not guaranteed. And just to explain that one more time, so when you log into the Teacher Center at futurecity.org, if you've completed your program detail survey, you just go to the educator pages, and then there's a lovely little SimCity codes option in the drop-down menu. When you click on that, you'll see that this test teacher requested 3 codes, and there they are. So all you have to do is copy and paste those while following the installation and download instructions. So we're hoping that this will kind of make your lives easier. You can do it you know, right after you register. You don't have to wait for me to have a chance to send you codes. If you ever run into any questions about any issues or have any questions, reach out to your regional coordinator, and if they're not able to help you, they will get in touch with me, and we can solve your problem. Moving right along. So this is the first page of that slideshow that I mentioned. So I'm going to go through these slides pretty quickly just because there are a lot of them. There are about 26 of them. But I just wanted to give you an example of exactly what we expect from your teams this year. So as you see, this is kind of an introductory slide. We're just asking for, you know, basic information. Next, this is the slide where the team has identified the 2 goals that they want to achieve in their city. So solid waste management and 4 Rs, and also public transit. In the right column, you can see the corresponding SimCity evidence. And again, we provide a list of goals and then that corresponding evidence. If you want to come up with different evidence, you know, more evidence, different goals, more than welcome to do that. Third slide is just phase 1. So this is their kind of first check-in. And we suggest that they do this at a range of 2,500 to 5,000 Sim citizens. If you want to check in earlier or later than that, you can. This is just our suggestion, but please be sure to note, if you change that range. We ask you for a screenshot of the different zones. So as you know, when you're developing a SimCity, you have residential, commercial, and industrial zones. And we just kind of want that bird's eye view of your city and with the different zones listed. And you can see those, the green, blue, and yellow correspond to the different zones. And you also just put the population at this point. Next is just another screenshot of the city's budget at that same point in time. Pretty self-explanatory. The next slide is just 2 screenshots of the population details part of SimCity. Also pretty self-explanatory. We just want to see kind of who is living in the city at that point. So this is the benchmarks part of phase 1. So it looks like a lot of information, but in the template that you'll download, all of the left column that has kind of the different benchmarks that we're looking for, this is all filled out. It's only the kind of column with the actual information that your city reflects. That's what we want you to fill out. And we have a benchmarks worksheet available for download from our website, and it explains not only what all the benchmarks are, but where to find them in the game. So it looks like a lot of information, but it's not that hard to complete. Here the team is checking in towards their progress, towards their goals. And again, you'll just see they've listed goal 1, the evidence. So this was all completed prior. And then what's their status? Are they making great progress? Do they still need to improve? And what is their evidence to back up that status? And they just do that for both goals. These are strategies that the team came up with to kind of make better progress towards their goals and further their kind of development in hoping to get towards those, not one, but both of those goals. So these will obviously differ by team and what strategies they've come up with. And we're only asking for, 2 strategies per each. And that was phase 1. So now we are in phase 2 with, again, the suggested kind of SimCity population range. And it'll look very familiar because we start again with that bird's eye view of the city and the zones. So you can see kind of how the city has grown and the different zones that are there. This will also look familiar, just the budget at this point in time. Again, from phase 1 is this populations tab with the 2 screenshots showing the various types of people that live in the city. Here are those benchmarks again. So really you're just kind of going through the same process to identify what are these updated, what is this updated and what is this updated information and statistics. Again, checking in, exactly the same process as the team did in phase 1. They still think they need improvement, more evidence that they have identified, and same with their second goal. Again, they came up with further strategies to kind of employ as they continue developing their city. And now we're already at phase 3, which is kind of the final check-in. Again, just our suggested range is more than 15,000 Sims, but if you choose a different one, you're more than welcome to use that. Same old bird's eye screenshot of the different city zones. Same budget screenshot, population, benchmarks, you've seen these all before, and then progress towards the goals. And then this is where we kind of want the teams to start making some conclusions. So here they will evaluate their overall progress towards their 2 goals. I just want to note that the rubric does not correspond to whether or not the teams actually achieved their goals or not, just that they kind of know either why they did or why they didn't. But their score will not be based, like if they don't achieve their goals, they will not be they won't lose points. We also have a conclusion slide, learning outcome, just basic, what did they learn? And so in the template, it's just kind of this bullet point, what we learned, and then we leave this blank for the teams to input what they learned. We also have a slide about the engineering design process and what they learned about that process from SimCity. We did not populate this one in the example slide because we want to see what the teams come up with. And here's kind of a slide that really gets to the heart of what we heard from a lot of educators that wanted the students to really think more about how they're applying the knowledge that they've gained in SimCity to the other deliverables in the Future City program. So this is what this team thought as an example. And again, the template will just have this what we learned bullet, and then the team can obviously fill out what they specifically learned. So that is the virtual city deliverable. Very different, but let's go back to that for a second. Very different, but hopefully streamlined. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the slideshow right now, it might be the first time you've seen it, so that's normal. Feel free to download the template and this example slideshow from Future City's website and get comfortable with it, and we hope that it will solve a lot of the problems. Probably not all the SimCity problems that we've encountered in Future City in the past, but at least some of them. And we are, like I said earlier, definitely open to feedback, maybe after the process, after your teams have gone through it. Let us know what worked, what didn't, what you think we should do to improve it. Moving on to the city description. This is the written piece. In past years, we had two written deliverables, the city narrative and the research essay. And this city description basically combines both of them into a longer written piece, so it's 1,500 words. It's worth 60 points, and also the due date varies by region. And so this is the kind of opportunity for teams to describe their city, describe their solution to the waste management themes this year. So again, it's very different. Instead of having a 1,000-word research essay and a 500-word city narrative, we are combining them. And we actually heard a lot of really great feedback about the city description during the pilot. Some of the teachers said it just made more sense, and it helped their students think more carefully and helped them be more deliberate about planning not only their city description, but the rest of their project. So we are hopeful that this will help your teams too. So that is the written piece. And then the city model, which we all know and love, no change from past years. It's worth 70 points, and it's due, obviously, at your regional competition. I did want to note that we are increasing the emphasis on the budget form this year and making sure teams are kind of accurately noting any fair market value of the materials that they're using. So we will be paying more attention to that on both the regional level and the national level. So just wanted to give you a heads up about that. City presentation, also unchanged from past years. This is just the opportunity that students have at the regional competition to present their city to the judges and then do a short question and answer period with them. So we are not changing everything on you. But now we have a new deliverable, the project plan. And so this is just a small deliverable aimed to kind of integrating those project management steps that we spoke about in the new framework. And we're really hoping that the steps will help the students plan and organize their project. It's worth 10 points, and there is no rubric. So basically, if your team completes there are 4 worksheets, and we'll go over those in one moment. If they complete those worksheets and they submit it on time, you earn the points. Can't make it any easier than that. So hopefully it will prove helpful to your region. It is due 1 week prior to your regional competition, and we would love for you to upload it as a single PDF. You can access the Word version of the project plan containing all 4 different documents from this website, futurecity.org/resources. And I just wanted to show you, if you've gone through the handbook, you've seen them, but these are the 4 different project plan parts, basically. So they start, step 1 is team goals. and they kind of list some resources they have, some constraints, and they'll learn all about what these words mean if they follow the activities in the program handbook. And then the second part that we want from them is just a team schedule. And each of these forms is explained very thoroughly in the handbook and on our website. So I just did kind of thumbnail versions of them to show you. We also just ask the team to reflect and then also just do a check-in or two. So that is the project plan deliverable. And we are also looking forward to your feedback about this, since it is a brand new deliverable. Feedback from the pilot report, or pilot evaluation, the students actually really liked the project plan and thought it was helpful for planning their project. We had a lot of kids say, you know, we didn't get confused along the way, or, you know, we didn't get distracted because we knew exactly what we were going to do. And so that's always nice to hear, and I hope you have that same experience with your students and your teams. So now I just wanted to highlight some of the resources that we have available for you since we're introducing a number of changes. The program handbook, read it, know it, love it. I cannot express enough how great it is. Hopefully you agree. We've completely redesigned it to fit in with the new program handbook. It's really laid out as a roadmap to success. If you haven't looked at it yet, please, please, please take some time to look at it. It is really helpful, and if you follow it, hopefully your team will be set up for success, and you'll not only be successful, but also enjoy the Future City program. And again, that program handbook is available from our website, or if you want a hard copy, you can contact your regional coordinator. Also, futurecity.org, our lovely website, has gotten a little facelift over the summer, and you can see a screenshot right here of the resources section. So this is new. In the past, the resources section was just a really long, just single web page of lots of links, but this has lots of different filters. And so if you're looking for only SimCity related resources, you can check this box and then hit apply, and SimCity related resources like how to get your SimCity codes or SimCity technical specs will pop up. Similarly, you can search for rules and rubrics, activities and background information. Hopefully you'll find this useful. Again, definitely open to your feedback. There's also this leading your team section, and this corresponds to the project management methods and cycle that we're introducing. That section is still being populated as we speak. Hopefully we'll be done in the next week, but this is a section that will also be growing over the next year. We are following some teams of students this coming year as they implement these kind of lesson plans and the Future City program in their classroom and after-school organizations, and we are filming them to create kind of best practices and how to do this. What does this actually look like? And so we're going to be making those videos available after they are filmed. So be ready for those for prior to the 2016-2017 season. And then your local regional coordinator is always your first go-to. Our regional coordinators are fantastic. They are super dedicated volunteers for the most part, and they are wonderful people there to answer your questions. If you can't get in touch with your regional coordinator, for some reason they're not responding to your emails, always feel free to email info@futurecity.org, and we can either answer your question or put you in touch with your coordinator. And so that is the end of our kind of update. I wanted to let you guys know that our annual kind of theme webinar that we have is coming up on Wednesday, October 7th. So you still got a while before that. This is the first time we've announced this, so you haven't gotten a link or anything to register yet. That will be distributed via email and Facebook in early September, and we'll send out a couple of reminders about that. But be sure to mark your calendars. Please, if you can stream it live with your students, definitely do that. If you can get your engineer mentor to join in, that's terrific too. And this is when we have our panel of 3 experts, and they'll all be sharing kind of their experience and their work with solid waste management. And so it'll be really helpful for your teams to start brainstorming some solutions that they might come up with. So at this point, I'm going to start going through the questions, and I'll get to as many as I can. If you have a question, feel free to enter it in that kind of questions folder or part that you see on your menu screen. Let me see. Sonia Tompkins asked, will this webinar be available online in the next week or so? Sonia, I'm hoping to post this webinar shortly after we end, so hopefully it'll be available by this afternoon or tomorrow. Peter Frischman asked, are codes from last year still active? Yes, so if you redeemed a code that you got last year, you just need to log in to Origin with that same user account information, so the same username and password that you used to set up the account last year, and it will still work, definitely. Sarah Lawrence asked, will there be other environmentally friendly energy sources available to use with SimCity this year, i.e. hydroelectric power, biodiesel, etc.? That's an interesting question, Sarah. Ideally, those would definitely be available with SimCity. We don't control any of the content in the game itself, but one thing to note is that the city that your team creates in SimCity does not have to be an exact kind of guide for the city that your team creates in their description and the model. We recognize that SimCity doesn't have a lot of the kind of newer, exciting kind of energy sources. So it does not have to completely like duplicate the SimCity city, but we just kind of want you to use SimCity to kind of learn about city development and start kind of brainstorming those ideas. So I hope that was clear. Kristen asked, are the team forms for the project plan writable? Yes, we actually uploaded them as a Word document in one file. So you'll download one file that has all 4 forms in it, and you can just save that as a PDF and then upload it when you're ready. Angie asked, I am new to the Future City competition. Where do I find information to contact my regional coordinator? Angie, if we go back to this part, if you see right at this upper right-hand corner, there's a Find My Region. Click on that button, and it'll take you to a list of all the Future City regions and the regional coordinators. And you should be able to email them right from there. Again, if you don't hear from them, feel free to reach out to info@futurecity.org. Peter, you have a very detailed question about SimCity, so we will follow up with you separately about that. Jennifer, we are still working on Central Texas, and Jennifer also asked, in the city model, does it represent the virtual city in SimCity, or their written document that provides their solution of the solid waste? So I kind of addressed that earlier. The city model does not have to be a duplicate of the virtual city that the team has created. We recognize that SimCity does not have a lot of the kind of innovative solutions. They can't keep up with the students' creativity. So definitely does not have to duplicate the virtual city at all. It should represent the same kind of solutions that the students talk about in their city description. So their specific solutions they've come up with, their kind of innovative ideas, and just all of that. Keep the questions coming if you have them. Jody Gilbert, are there online instructions for getting the screenshots from within the game? Jody, it is super easy to take a screenshot. We actually described that in the handbook, and I believe they are in the SimCity instructions. If not, they might be in the document that I'm currently working on. But all you do is press C, and it, like literally just the key C, while you're in the game, and it saves it to your SimCity kind of folder on your hard drive in a photos folder. So we will definitely lay all that information out for you, so so it's very clear. Let me see. Kristen asked, has solid waste been a theme in the past? Nope, we have never had solid waste in the specific kind of challenge to design a solid waste management system that is safe, environmentally friendly, and energy efficient. We've never had that as a theme in the past. Jennifer Allen, how many goals? So Jennifer Allen, you say the downloaded project plan has space for 4 goals, but you showed 2 goals on the slideshow. The project plan goals are for kind of the team's overall goals for Future City and for their project. The slideshow I walked you guys through is specifically for the virtual city. So there are 2 separate deliverables, which I think is causing the confusion. So the overall goals for your team for their Future City project has space for 4, fill out 4 if you want. But for the virtual city goals, we only ask that you do 2. Sarah Lawrence, yes, the theme webinar will be posted online shortly after the October 7th webinar when it takes place. So Grace Finn, just to confirm, yes, students can use any region this year. They are no longer relegated to just the Whitewater Valley region. Arcy, you have a question about SimCity codes and requesting more. Please email info@futurecity.org, so info @futurecity, and tell us kind of how many codes you'd like, how many students you're working with, and we will respond to you that way. And I think those are all the questions I've gotten so far. Ooh, okay, Jennifer Allen. There are multiple cities in the region. Should they focus on one city or does it matter? Jennifer, they can play as many cities as they want, but while they're developing the city for their slideshow, they should be doing the screenshots and progress reports of that same city. So, you know, they can definitely start multiple cities just to kind of get a feel and then maybe make a decision on which one they want to continue developing, but they should be checking in and progressing towards their goals on the same city. Wanda Bryant asked, are there grants to cover the cost of materials, so that $100 budget for the city model and presentation? National does not offer any goals. Sometimes we receive grants from sponsors that we can then offer. That has not happened yet for this year, but we will definitely let you know if that's a possibility. I would suggest reaching out to your regional coordinator and see if there's anything available on the regional level. Those are all the questions, so I'll give you guys about 1 more minute to ask any questions you have. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any outstanding questions, feel free to either reach out to your regional coordinator or to info, and we will definitely get back to you. And again, this webinar, including all the questions and answers, will be posted online this afternoon. And thank you guys for the positive comments. And Christina Zimmer, yes, we are working on getting the research and resource links up in the resource section. I currently have, let me see if it's up here yet. I don't think it's up here yet. I have a long list of all of them, like a Word document that has a bunch of links in it. I will double check and at least get that up for you right now before we can kind of get each separate link up as a separate resource. So that is coming. Thank you for the reminder. Peter asked, I think you just answered, can students work not in the single player mode now? So the single player mode is also known as offline mode. We recommend students work in that mode just because it saves the game on the hard drive. Personally, I just like knowing it's on the hard drive rather than in the cloud. Also, if they're playing online, there's opportunity. I don't honestly know that much about how the online mode works, but there's opportunity for other people that are not on your team to kind of like join your city, I believe. And so there are just some impacts that might be out of your team's control. So I definitely recommend playing in the offline mode as we've done in years past, if at all possible. Kristen asked just a general Future City question. How many teams come out of classwork and how many are extracurricular? Kristen, the majority of our teams definitely are school related, mostly either in school or after school. We're really hoping to kind of reach out to some more after school organizations like if you know any Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, church youth groups, definitely spread the word. Yes, John, I will add this PowerPoint in the regional coordinator's Dropbox. Great, I'm glad to see so many people are excited about these improvements. And Jennifer Allen asked, when can we expect dates to be published for the various deliverables? Jennifer, each region sets their own deadlines. So if you log into your account at futurecity.org, hopefully your regional coordinator has updated the due dates for you for this year. If not, they will be updated soon. Yes, Christina, this webinar will be available, posted online in our lovely resources section, hopefully this afternoon or by tomorrow. Any other questions? Great, Christina, I'm glad you feel like your team is ready. Love to hear that. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm here to support your regional coordinators and support you guys and make your experience with Future City as terrific as it can possibly be. I'm really excited for 2015-2016. I hope you guys are too. And I will hopefully see you on October 7th for our kind of theme webinar. Thank you very much. Bye.